Today we're going to look at the Black Series line, some unusual graded items, and what's this? 6-inch figures.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Mando number 5.
Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to my channel, Mando number 5, and I'm Keith Guppy. So welcome to Figures Focus Line episode number 18. Can you believe it? So today we're going to look at the Black Series of figures, the 3 3/4 inch figures that were launched between 2013 to 2016, and they come in 3 ranges. So the first release of the Black Series in 2013 were the orange carded figures, orange and black. They all obviously had a black background with the Star Wars logo at the top, a black and white, black and grey picture of the figure. This is a Stormtrooper Commander, but had the classic orange line down the side and orange writing, and these were renowned for the bubbles coming off. I've got a few that the bubbles have come off. They just drop off over time. The glue wasn't great. So yeah, that's a problem with these ones. There were 30 of these, and there were supposed to be 31, but one was cancelled. So yeah, and that's the backing of the card. You get a silhouette of the Stormtroopers, you can see there. So that was the first launch. The second one was the TIE Fighter pilot line with a blue writing. Really love this outline. This is obviously Han Solo in carbonite. Again, you've got Han Solo's face down the bottom, but I love the card back. It's a bit reminiscent of some of the Droid factory packs or series that you can get. One was R2-D2, which I'll show in a couple of weeks' time. But again, the back, some you've got pictures of the figures. Some you've just got some writing, but I'll go through that in a little bit of detail in a minute. There's only 20 of these, but some really cool figures in this line that I'll show you later on. And then lastly, probably the most unpopular release of the Black Series was in the classic red box, which is very similar, obviously, to the 6-inch line that was running at the same time. So you got the red name and on that end, and then a red name on that end, and this is obviously a Stormtrooper, Sand Trooper. But yeah, there was 29 of those released, and again, that's probably the most disappointing line for me. Not quite as nice as the TIE Fighter pilot line. As always, if you're enjoying the channel, hit the like button and subscribe if you want to see more. And remember to stay tuned right to the end, where I will let you know how much this line would be if you want to buy it now, and how much I need to spend to finish it.
So let's have a look at the orange line, the first line that was launched in the free releases. All the card fronts are more or less the same, but you can see that we've got here the European version. You've got, I think, the Australian and Canadian version. The Canadian and Australian versions, the card fronts are exactly the same, but with the European release, they've used a classic black sticker to black out the warning label and put a +4 sign on it instead. This is a really nice one, actually. This is Mary Jade, which has been graded. I've got a couple of these graded. As I said, I'm really worried about the bubbles on them because they do peel off. That's an UKG 85, and that's probably one of the rarer ones. But what I think I'll do today is I'll just I'll highlight probably the 2 nicest figures from each of the 3 lines in value. But I do want to just dwell a little bit on the TIE Fighter pilot line, because I think there's some really nice commanders in there that really aren't worth a lot of money, but I think they should be worth more. So the European version, you've got the classic boring sticker that's been slapped on the back of the card. And then, as I said, you've got the Australian version, and you've got the Canadian version. Sorry, Canadian, Australian. They're more or less identical. One just mentions Australia, one mentions Canada, and then you've got the blacked out, sort of the grey inverted picture of this one's Padme Amidala, and then the Snowtrooper Commander. So all pretty much the same in terms of the card backs. Really not a lot of difference in them. So in terms of value and figures, this is probably the second most valuable figure. This is Pablo Gil. Really cool figure, but unfortunately this one is slightly coming away, which is really annoying. If you want to get that one there on a secondary market, you're probably looking at about 50 quid for him at the moment, so quite a lot of money. But then the real star of the whole line, actually, a bit like the Senate sort of guards are for the Rebels, not the Rebels line, yeah, the Rebels line, is this one, Darth Plagueis. Obviously, he had a little show at the end of the Acolyte, which for me I thought was great, but would have really enhanced the price of this one probably. Even now, this one ranged anywhere between £70 and £100. Really unique. It's the only Darth Plagueis that's been released to date, which is why it's so expensive. Really cool sculpt, really nice. It's got a little staff, obviously his lightsaber and a little mask by looks of it. And this is the European version with a big sticker on the back, which is a bit of a shame. But yeah, he's kind of the main highlight of this line. Like I said, probably about 80 quid if you want to get him. I will just a minute give the Republic Trooper an honorary mention. This one was at one point very difficult to get hold of. It wasn't a mass release. I think it might have even been maybe cancelled. This is number 31. I know number 30 was actually cancelled. So for a time, this is really in demand. That was going for 60, 70, 80 quid. And then there's a few more turned up, I think, at Entertainers and stuff like that. But yeah, until the TVC line launched it, then this was a really in demand figure. But still pretty damn cool. Next, you have my favourite of the free releases, which is the TIE Fighter with the blue writing releases, which are really cool. Here you've got 3 different card backs. You've got the European release, again, with the sticker on the top, and then a big fat sticker on the back. And then you've got, I'm not quite sure, you might have to help me out here, because these look like both Canadian releases, but they are clearly different. That's got age 4+, and that's got it in, I presume, French. And there's a warning sticker on this one. There's nothing on this one, and then you've got a sticker on this one. So help me out here. They both say Canada on the back, and they're both no, they don't. Sorry, they are different. They do mention Canada on both the backing cards, but obviously this one has got the picture again, and then that has just got the writing. So I think we've got here UK, probably America, and then Canada releases. So yes. So there's the 3 releases of the black card. But I think this line is really nice, and I'm going to just pull up some highlights for you, including the 2 most valuable ones of this line. So before we go to the few most valuable ones of this line, I just want to go through some of the commanders, because I think they're really cool and they're very unique. Now, most of these you can probably pick up for sort of 20-25 quid, which I think's an absolute steal. I mean, look at Clone Commander Doom. That is the only one I'm aware of that was released like that. In his green livery, really cool figure. And then you've got Clone Commander Wolf. Again, a different version you've seen before. I think that's kind of his snow gear version, which is really cool. And then you've got Clone Commander Thorn. Again, a really nice figure. These are really cool. These are all on the Canadian back, unfortunately, because I like the pictures. Like, oh, we go. No, that one is. So on the back there, you've got Wolf, and then you've got another one of his Wolf pack in the background. But they're really cool figures. So that was the some of the commanders that I really like in this line. They also had a couple other unusual ones. They had Don Dutch Vander. Again, a unique figure, a unique head sculpt in this line, the pilot. So that was pretty cool. And then you had their first attempt, which is a bit of a poor attempt, at Darth Vader with his mask off in this line, and you've got a little piece of his mask just there, which is cool. But in terms of the most expensive figures, the 2 most expensive ones are number 2, Darth Malgus. Really cool, a bit like the TV. I should have probably got a TVC one out to just compare, but really nice figure, very popular. That'll probably cost you 40 or 50 quid. And then the most expensive figure in this line at the moment is Mosep Bined, probably because people were trying to get stuff for the Cantina, but a really unique figure, that one. You can only get him this series, and he's probably £60-70 at the minute, but a real nice figure in the line. But yes, that's the TIE Fighter pilot line, which I really like. And this line is the line that also had the 2 really nice Toys R Us playsets, which I'll show you in a minute. Oh, and just one other one I'll show you, which is really nice figure in this line, was Starkiller, Galen Merrick. And this is cool. This is a graded, this is UKG 90 So really nice piece this. But look at all the accessories you got inside. I mean, for value for money, that is brilliant. You had 2 lightsabers, gauntlets, a change of his top, a change of his trousers or waist. But a really, really nice figure. One of my favourites again of this line. And like I said, I really, really, really think this line's underestimated. And then on the back, a really cool picture of him with his lightsaber, and he's destroyed. Looks like some droids. But really cool. I'm so glad that's not the version where you've just got the righty, but it looks really cool in this graded box, encased in acrylic. Then the third release was probably my least favourite release, actually, was these boxes. Now, they look great on display like that, all lined up. Like I said, a bit of a throwback to the 6-inch figures. But they had some reasonably cool figures. You had maybe Ponda Baba with his spare arms and bits and pieces, which you can interconnect. That's really cool. And then you had a really nice prototype Boba Fett. I think only released in that version and a TVC. So that's quite sought after. That one there would probably cost you 25-30 quid. So one of the more expensive ones. And then you had a couple others. You had a nice, they did a nice Admiral Akbar. Some really nice paint colours on him. But it's quite nice. But most of them are worth probably about sort of £5 to £10. The two that are probably the most expensive, believe it or not, is the Royal Guard. He'll probably cost you 20 quid. It's probably one of the cheapest ways to get a Royal Guard, probably. And then the probably most expensive one is the Elite Praetorian Guard. Very similar. He's probably 25-30 quid, but a really cool figure, actually, really nice. And again, I will do a series of videos where I compare all of these from all the ranges, because I like to see what he looks like against the TVC one. So there's the all the figures. As I said, there's 79 in total. But one other thing, these were actually launched at Walmart, and I believe probably Asda. And again, you have, sorry, I didn't mention this, you have got the different, you've got the the European releases, and you've got the Canadian release, but then you've also got Japanese distribution as well. So very similar sort of backs. You've got 2 or 3 different backs on the cards. And then obviously the bottoms are slightly different. This has got a warning label on it. That hasn't. So the European ones is just a bit cleaner. Generally got a bit of a cleaner look to them. And then there's the foreign languages ones. But yeah, pretty cool. But let's have a look at the play sets. So surprisingly, even though the line was quite small, it did produce 3 really nice vehicle stroke battle sets, which I want to go through. Probably the least impressive, but still pretty impressive, is the larger scale ATST in the red line. But really nice looking ATST. It's got the pilot in the inside as well, the ATST driver. The side of the box, you've got like a little sort of diagrammatic line drawing of it, which is really quite cool. You can still see straight through and see the front of the ATST. On the back, it's obviously got a bit of detail. It's a double-seated version, so it's a larger version. So really, really cool. This would probably set you back, reasonably rare, this would probably set you back about probably £70 if you wanted to get it now. So yeah, that's the first one I want to show you, the first vehicle. Now we get on to the 2 really, really nice Toys R Us exclusive sets. And these are huge. Very, very big piece. I'll give you an idea of scale. There's a carded figure there for you. But a really, really, really nice set. I'll just pan back a little bit if I can, because it's such a big set. But look, in here you've got Gramian Guard. You've got Luke Skywalker, Rancor Monster, Princess Leia, a C-3PO, and Jabba the Hutt all in one box. It's huge. Really, really nice. Plastic top, so you can see right the way down and into it. Really, really cool. Sorry about the glare, guys. I'll try to take some extra pictures actually in a minute. But on the back it says Black Series, and on the back you've got the classic sort of grey and black outline of a Rancor Monster. A bit about what's there and what's included inside the box. But this is a Toys R Us exclusive. Really, really hard to get hold of. I would put a value of this anywhere between 200 and 400 quid, I suspect. You just don't see them. This one's in really good condition, not quite gradable, probably get an 80 You've got the exclusive sticker here, the Toys R Us exclusive. So that's the first one, probably my favourite of the two, but really, really, really nice set, and something I've toyed with getting graded a couple times. So that's the first one. And the second one, a bit like the 30th anniversary release, where you had the Battle of Endor set and the Hoth set, you've got Battle of Endor set with this Black Series. Again, loads going on. You've got 2 Ewoks. I think they're pretty exclusive. Leia, Han, ATST driver, Stormtrooper, Imperial Commander, Chewie, a bunker, but a cardboard bunker in the background. And again, you've got the bigger ATST there in the background. But again, really, really nice set. Toys R Us exclusive again. So again, really difficult to get a hold of those. And there, what a classic scene. You've got Han with his hands up, and Chewie getting on the ATST. But a really, really lovely set. Again, you don't see these come up. I would say probably 200 quid if you want to get this set now. So a real highlight of the line, and quite impressive, to be honest. So finally, I just want to quickly show you some of my 6-inch. Yes, 6-inch stuff. I've got a little bit. I don't really collect it, but I've got a couple pieces of Empire Strikes Back, and I've got a ridiculous graded item, which I'm a bit ashamed to show you, but I'll show you anyway. Don't worry, all you 3 3/4 fans, this isn't going to turn into a 6-inch series, but I do love Empire Strikes Back. It's my favourite film of all time, and so I have got a few pieces, 6-inch pieces. I've got the Luke and Yoda Dagobah training, Team Jedi training, which is really cool pack. I love the logo on it. I love the angle of the bubble and the logo. Really cool. I won't dwell on this too long. So I've got that one, and then I've got the probe droid. Again, a really cool. Love the probe droid in Empire Strikes Back. And there's a back. That's D3. That one. And they've got classic numbers on the side. They should have done that 3 3/4 inch, really, just for you collectors out there. But there's a probe droid. And then my favourite one, I really love this. This is the Hoth Wampa, but in the sort of foil card, which is really, really nice. I mean, you can see lights bouncing off of there. Really nice. Really, really heavy, actually, figure. Obviously, this has been re-released. It was released earlier with a bubble front, but I love this. This is a throwback to, obviously, the original box art, and on the back it's got some really cool images of the Hoth Wampa. So it's a little bit of a dent now, which is a shame, but yeah, so a really nice figure. I love these. So, and I've got a few other loose ones, but probably stuff I'll probably sell in the future. I'll probably keep these few, but the other ones I'll probably sell on.
And here's a much better look at the 2 sets. It's quite difficult on my other camera, but yeah, I mean, there's the Endor scene. Looks fantastic. Look at those Ewoks. They've got a few sort of spare helmets and bits and pieces going on in there. I've just realised that the ATST is unusual again because it's got brown feet. So I think that is the only ATST with that sort of colour orientation. So that's really, really cool. And there's the Jabba the Hutt Rancor pit. Absolutely amazing. So you've got Jabba up the top, and then almost sort of as a pit sort of thing, you've got the Rancor below with the Gamorrean guard. Not sure what version that is, so anyone out there knows, let me know. It's got his weapons, and then you've got Luke. But really, really cool Toys R Us exclusives. And as you said, I don't really know what they're worth because you just don't see them come up. I think I've seen them sort of, that one there, I've seen him anywhere near up to 500 quid for sale, but I don't know if it's ever sold at that sort of value. I'd imagine, like I said, a couple hundred quid each would probably get you a version of this if you're patient enough. Really, really cool. So lastly, just before we move on to the value, I want to show you this piece, which I was mad enough to get graded probably about 10 years ago. And that's the massive Special Forces Black Series TIE Fighter. There's a 3 3-inch figure just for scale. A huge figure. Now these TIE Fighters, when they came out, I think they're about 250 quid in Argos, and they just weren't selling. And in the end, you could pick them up for about 50 quid, I think, or 70 quid. And I picked one up, and I actually thought they're amazing. I thought the size of them was huge. They've never done anything this big before or since. So I thought, oh, bugger it, I'll get one graded. So obviously I had to go and pick this up. This was graded straight out of the box. and is graded U95. So pretty much perfect. Came with Imperial Forces exclusive pilot. But yeah, an amazing ship. Yeah, I am a bit nuts to get that graded, and I tell you what, I probably guarantee you there's not another graded in the world. But anyway, if anyone's got one, let me know. But yeah, pretty cool and absolutely bloody huge ship, but looks cool in my room. So let's look at that all-important value, and I'm lucky enough to have the whole collection, so I've got no gaps in this line at the moment. So as I said before, in total there was 79 figures. There was 30 figures in the orange line. There were 20 in the blue line, and then 29 in the last line, which is a red line. So based on recent eBay sales, you'd have to spend £1,169 to get the whole lot. And that's an average of only £14.80. Now, bearing in mind you've got Darth Plagueis in there and some of the other expensive figures, that's quite a low average. Like I said, some of these red box figures, they're probably, you can pick these up for 5, 6, 7 quid, so they're pretty cheap. So that's the figures, and then you've got the 3 vehicles of the line, the 2 fantastic box sets that you can get, which is the Endor Battle and then the Jabba the Hutt's throne room. Really nice sets in themselves, and then you got the ATST. So there's only 3 of those. I think you'd have to spend nearly 500 quid, 475 quid to get those now, because the first 2 that I mentioned, the TIE Fighter battle sets, are so hard to get hold of, and they're hard to price as well. But I think you'd have to spend, like I said, £475, and then that's an average of £158 and 33p to get those 3 vehicle sets. So what does that give you? For a little line, it's quite a lot. £1,644 to get that whole line. And as like I said, I'm lucky enough to have the whole line myself. So no gaps this week, I'm pleased to say. But there you have it. There's episode 18. And I'll see you all again next week for episode number 19. Cheers.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Mando number 5.